Today, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and their real secret weapon. And nope, it's not just Patrick Mahomes. We're diving into how their completely battered offensive line actually revealed what a true championship culture is all about. So get this, it all kicks off with this pretty wild quote from the Chiefs running back, Isaiah Pacheco. He says this after a tough game against the Raiders, mind you. He basically admits he had no idea that one of his key blockers, Trey Smith, was even out of the game with an injury. Just gone.
I mean, how is that even possible? How can a running back, the guy whose entire job depends on these linemen, not even notice when one of his main guys vanishes mid-game? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack. Yeah, this is way more than just a funny little story. It's actually a peek behind the curtain, you know? It shows you the very DNA of this team. They have a culture of readiness that's so deep, it can literally hide a major crisis happening in real time. What this really means is that the backup who jumped in played so flawlessly that nothing changed. The rhythm, the timing, the protection for Pacheco, it was like nothing ever happened. And that kind of seamless transition in the absolute chaos of an NFL game, that's almost unheard of.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit because we need to understand just how bad this situation really was. We're not talking about one guy getting a little dinged up. The entire O-line was basically hanging on by a thread. Just look at this casualty list. Your starting right guard, Trey Smith, is out with back spasms. Then, your starting right tackle, Jawan Taylor, goes down with a shoulder injury. Oh, and your starting left tackle, Josh Simmons, he wasn't even with the team for personal reasons. They were just hemorrhaging starters. And this number right here, this shows you just how close they were to absolute disaster. At one point, another lineman got shaken up. If he'd had to leave the game, the Chiefs would have been missing 4 of their 5 original starting linemen. 4! I mean, that's not just a game loser, that can be a season killer. So, the big question is, how did they pull it off? How do you stare down that kind of catastrophe and not even flinch? Well, it all comes down to a simple idea that's really, really hard to actually put into practice. It's all about that next man up mentality. You've heard the phrase, but for the Chiefs, it's the real deal. In their building, the line between a starter and a backup is, well, it's pretty blurry. The expectation is the same for everyone. You're not just a backup. You're a starter in waiting, expected to be ready at a moment's notice. And look, this isn't just some coach speak they put on a t-shirt. This comes straight from Creed Humphrey, the all-pro center and the anchor of that line. He's saying the secret isn't some magic formula. It's just relentless hard work with guys holding each other accountable. It comes from the players themselves. And these are the guys who are living proof of what Humphrey's talking about. Mike Caliendo, Jalen Moore, these are the names you might not know, but they're the ones who stepped right into the fire. And they didn't just fill a spot, they performed. They were ready for their moment. Which brings us right back to Pacheco, right? To him, on the field, it didn't feel like some frantic emergency substitution. He said it just felt like a normal rotation, like guys were just getting subbed in and out. The whole machine just kept on rolling, no hiccups. Okay, so it's a great story, for sure. But in the NFL, feel-good stories don't win you games. So did this incredible resilience actually translate to results on the field, where it really counts? Let's take a look. You bet it did. Even behind that pieced-together O-line, Pacheco had a solid, productive day. 15 carries, 57 yards, and he punched one in for a crucial touchdown. So the offense wasn't just surviving, it was actually thriving. And according to Creed Humphrey, this wasn't just a one-off thing. He feels like the run game is really starting to find its groove. It's building momentum week after week, and it almost doesn't matter who's plugging in up front. But you know how it is in the NFL. You never get to rest on your laurels. All that battle-tested resilience is about to get a huge exam, because coming up next for the Chiefs is a date with the Washington Commanders. And this sets up a really fascinating matchup when you think about it. On one side, you've got the Chiefs' proven depth and that next man-up culture. And on the other, you have a really talented, really formidable defensive line, ready to test them from the very first snap. Creed Humphrey was pretty specific about the threats they're facing. Inside, you have absolute monsters like Javon Kinlaw and Jaron Payne just creating havoc. And that's complemented by some seriously talented guys rushing off the edge. This is a real-deal defensive front. Yeah, Humphrey isn't sugarcoating it at all. He knows exactly what they're up against, saying plainly, "We got our work cut out for us." The respect for their opponent is crystal clear, and you know the challenge has been accepted. Which kind of leaves us with this final thought. In a league defined by talent, injuries, and razor-thin margins, maybe the Chiefs have revealed their true secret weapon. It's not a single player or a clever scheme, but a culture of preparation so deep it can turn a potential disaster into just another day at the office. And you have to wonder, is that the ultimate competitive edge?